In this video, I'm going to talk about handling links, specifically logos, in InDesign. So the benefit of linking a logo in InDesign rather than copying and pasting it from Illustrator is that you know it's going to remain intact. You know that the words and image from the logo are going to stay the correct distance, the correct proportion, and all those things are really important. So there's a few tricks you can try. First, I'm going to start by getting my frame tool. It's the rectangle with an X in it. And let's say I know I'm going to want those logos to be 1/2 inch high. So I'm going to go ahead and drag a box. And I'm going to stop when that H number next to my cursor is at 0.5. And then I'll press Command D. You can also go to the File menu and choose Place. And I will navigate to my logo. So when I place a logo that way, it always is going to want to make it 100%. So if I see over here in my transform panel, now that I have a linked file in there, these numbers tell me that it's 100% scale, and it definitely does not fit in the box at all. So my box is this size, and the logo itself is taking up that much space at 100%. So rather than being fiddly and getting in there with this method and holding shift and like changing it and moving it and changing it and moving it, so all I really need to do is just select that frame, right click, go to fitting, and choose fit content proportionally. So this is automatically going to scale down that logo to perfectly fit the box, and it won't distort the proportions. So this logo has some white edge around it, which is defined by how it was made. So this is not ideal, but this got me way closer than constantly fiddling around and trying to adjust. So I'll click on that target, or you can click on the logo with your white arrow or direct selection tool. And I'm going to make sure I'm plenty zoomed in. And now I can go and make adjustments. So the other trick here is that I'm holding the shift key and I'll click and hold on one of these corners and wait a second, and it's going to show me it resizing as I go, as opposed to just holding shift and resizing, and I can see the box changing but not the actual logo. But if I click and hold and then start moving, all with my shift key down, I'll be able to get nice and exact because I can see it scale as I go. All right, so I've got one in here. I'll go to the next one. I'm just going to Shift Option drag that box over, and I'll do Command D or File Place. Got my next logo. So I'll try the same thing here first. Right click on it, go to Fitting, and choose Fit Content Proportionally. So in this case, this is a much more horizontal logo, and it fit as big as it could horizontally, but not vertically. So because it filled up horizontally first, it can't fill it vertically. So I'm just going to make the box way too long, and I'll do the same thing. Right click, Fitting, Fit Content Proportionally. And now I've got this perfect 1/2 inch height, fills the whole box perfectly, good to go. And so we'll do the third one. Shift Option drag another copy out. Command D or File Place. Do the same thing, right click, Fitting, Fit Content Proportionally, and this one behaved as well. So the next thing I would do is I'm going to select just these two right click and go to fitting again, except this time I'm going to choose fit frame to content. So this is just going to snap that frame in exactly along the outside of the artwork. I'm not doing it on this one because there's that extra white based on how the logo file was made. So by using fit frame to content, I know that the frame isn't going to be cropping off any of the logo. And when I press my W key to hide those edges, I can space these out and they look great. If you accidentally move one of these or they get off alignment, you can always select all three of them and go to your Align palette and choose to realign them. So I could choose align their tops or align their bottoms. Either one will work. And then they can move around and stay intact. It's also a good idea, once you get the spacing between them set, to select all of them and then just group them so that they're always going to move as one group, even if you click off of them and come back later. Remember, if you need to resize them, either as a group or individually, because they're links, you need to hold the Command key while you resize, as well as Shift. The Command key tells the content to resize, as well as the frame, and Shift will keep them in proportion. So holding Shift and Command, I can resize these up or down, and they're staying in a nice, tight and perfectly sized row. If you have special black and white logos, and you're working in a different file, actually the quickest thing to do is to just copy and paste the colored ones in, and then just swap them out. So let's pretend that I've pasted this into a new document, and I'm just going to throw a color block behind here, just so we can pretend that this is something with a dark background. So I'm going to select my logo group, and I'm going to ungroup it just to make selecting easier, but I'm going to be very careful not to move anything. So I'll select my first box, do Command D or File Place, and I'll place the white version of that logo. And we can see that it just swapped in, it didn't move. Hopefully, if there's a competent person making these files, that will be the case. So that's it. That's as easy as it is. I'm going to use my work in my first setup in order to save myself time when I go to a different format. So those are some quick tips on handling logos in InDesign.